Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Tucker dismantles Idiot Lib Guest who says men are toxic and it makes them terrorists. Liberals like to think that they are intellectuals, but often their thinking makes zero sense. They also love to paint conservatives as people who ignore facts, and yet liberals are usually the ones making completely baseless comments that have little or no connection to reality. In a truly strange example of this, a feminist woman came on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News and argued with a straight face that women are objectively better than men. Thankfully, Tucker set her straight about how bigoted that view is. The Guest, a magazine publisher named Cathy Arau, stated to Carlson, "Women are better, unfortunately. We are not the murderers of our society. We are not committing the crimes. We commit less than 20% of the crimes. So actually, men are not as good as women. We are actually better. We're safer." Tucker answered, tripping her up with her own dumb liberal ideas, "But what about men who transition to women? So if a man says if he's got a terrible case of toxic masculinity, he's on his deathbed dying from toxic masculinity?" She replied, "Right." Carlson then asked, "And he says, bam, I'm a woman now, does it cure him?" Cathy responded, "Well, I would hope so. He would be the better gender, so I hope so." Tucker later inquired, "So if there's toxic masculinity, that suggests the polar, right, toxic femininity. What would that look like? How prevalent is that?" Cathy answered, "Well, sugar, spice and everything nice, that's what it's like to be a girl. But boys will be boys, and that's what we're raising. We're raising boys to think they should be more powerful and stronger. Maybe we're just not raising them right. Why are women supposed to be nonviolent?" Carlson then asked, "Is there such a thing as toxic femininity?" Cathy replied, "No, we do no wrong. Women do no wrong. Do you think this woman is clearly sexist?" Hillary Clinton publishes a letter to her teenage self, get ready to laugh. Hillary Clinton, once a presidential candidate, is now spending her time writing love letters to herself for Teen Vogue magazine. The self-published article is called "Hillary Clinton's Letter to Her Teenage Self Is So Powerful." She described all the powerful women she saw when she first arrived in college. This contradicts her narrative that men are oppressing women, but there you go. When you first arrived on campus, you found yourself surrounded by brilliant, accomplished women. They were fluent in other languages. They had lived abroad. They had already read half the books on the syllabus, she wrote. That was intimidating, so intimidating, in fact, that you called your parents and told them you didn't belong at Wellesley after all, and you needed to come home. Your dad, who'd never really wanted you to go so far away for school in the first place, was more than ready to welcome you back. But your mother was not about to let that happen. She said you had to be brave, you had to stick it out. And you had the good sense not to argue, which turned out to be one of the best decisions you ever made, she wrote. She forgot to warn herself of her husband cheating on her and her humiliating loss to Donald Trump. Down the road, your tall, handsome boyfriend who's crazy about politics will ask you to move to Arkansas with him. It will be a pretty outlandish suggestion. In fact, your friend Sarah will spend the entire drive to Little Rock trying to talk you out of it, but your heart will steer you right, she wrote. Jake Tapper attacks Sean Hannity for defending Roy Moore. He apologizes after Hannity's brutal response. CNN's Jake Tapper tried to attack Sean Hannity for an out-of-context quote. This is a normal CNN move, but Hannity wasn't willing to take it. He hit back against Jake Tapper so hard that he actually apologized. It was a second of brief cross-talk. Hannity made it clear that he was highly opposed to Roy Moore if the allegations are true. But in that 1 second it sounded like Hannity was saying that you can consent when you are 14. Jake Tapper jumped on this. Legally, one cannot give consent if one is underage, tweeted Tapper at Hannity. Fake Jake, listen to my comments all day. Typical MMF, a lazy hack. CNN fake news, responded Hannity. Hannity then said on his show that those on the left are taking him out of context and Roy Moore's alleged actions are beyond reprehensible, beyond disgusting, and beyond shameful. Hannity made it clear when he was talking about consent he was talking about the 18-year-old. I'm going to take Hannity at his word and assume he was not referring to the 14-year-old incident as consensual but rather the 17-18-year-old girls. The crosstalk was confusing but no reason to believe the worst. For that reason, I'm deleting the tweets. I don't watch your show but it's good that you admitted you misspoke about consensual sexual contact with 14-year-old girl. For that reason, I deleted the tweets. We agree that if the charges are true, it's horrifying, wrote Tapper. I honestly appreciate you pulling down those tweets. No hard feelings. I'll do the same for you. All my best, Sean, replied Hannity. Stephen Colbert makes worst anti-Second Amendment argument ever, it's the first funny thing he's ever said. Late-night talk show host Stephen Colbert tried to lecture his viewers on the need for gun control. However, his argument backfired tremendously. You want to do something, but nothing gets done. No one does anything. Nothing gets done to control the guns that kill 10,000 people a year around America, not just in these mass killings, said Colbert. 5,000 years ago if your village had a tiger coming into it every day and was eating people, you wouldn't do nothing. You would move the village, you would build a fence, or you would kill the tiger, he said. It almost sounds like he is endorsing building a wall to stop crime from coming into our country. But of course he's not. You wouldn't say, well, I guess, someone's going to get eaten every day because the price of liberty is tigers, said Colbert. However, many followers pointed out an easy solution to Colbert's problem. You could shoot the tiger. Rather than running away and moving the village, if you had a gun your problem would be solved quickly. This seems like possibly the worst metaphor here, since the way most communities deal with predatory animal attacks is shooting them, tweeted Rachel Alexander. This analogy is perfect because their proposed solution to stop a man-eating tiger is to kill an elephant and ban chimps instead, wrote Stephen Miller. I'd shoot it, wrote another user. Rush makes huge prediction about 2020, smacks down Lib report that Trump is losing his base. Republican President Donald Trump has a rock-solid base that has been supporting him through thick and thin this year, despite the attempts by the liberal-biased media and Democrat and establishment Republican politicians alike to defame him. These anti-Trump forces got some encouragement recently when 2 Democrats were elected governor, in Virginia and New Jersey. In addition, a transgender person was voted into the Virginia state legislature, a first in this country. Liberals have been claiming that this very small election somehow shows that people are turning against President Trump. Thankfully, radio legend Rush Limbaugh was quick to point out how wrong they are. He also made a very bold prediction about how Trump would do if he ran again. Stated Limbaugh on his show, The New Media Narrative is that the Republicans are finished, that the Virginia vote means everybody's tired of Trump, fed up with Trump, embarrassed by Trump, and it's over. And it doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean anything. He stated that Virginia does not translate to other states. Rush went on, and yet the drive-bys, all they can talk about is the wave of resistance against Trump that swept so many Democrats into office. A virtual tsunami. Limbaugh countered this by citing a poll that 82% of people who voted for Trump in 2016 would do so again today. He went on, this is why all of the polls show that Trump would win if the election were held today. But what these two numbers mean in the Hypothetical election that would happen today, Trump would win by a wider margin nationwide if the election were held today. Do you think Rush is right? Right after North Korea threatened to shoot Guam, Trump fired back something unexpected. Trump said in a series of tweets that he is ready to fight tonight. He said that the nuclear arsenal is stronger and more powerful than ever before. North Korea then said that it is carefully examining a plan to hit Guam that will enact the moment that Kim Jong-un attacks us. North Korea said earlier that the US would pay dearly for the sanctions that were put on them during the weekend. North Korea claims now that US imperialists are nuclear war maniacs. Here is what Tillerson said last night via Fox News. Americans should sleep well at night, Tillerson told reporters as he went to Guam. He then explained that Trump spoke very hard-hitting to Kim because he doesn't seem to understand diplomatic language. Guam is 2,218 miles from North Korea. It is where our Andersen Air Force and Naval Base is located. It houses thousands of American service members. Let's say a prayer for military men and women that are on the island of Guam. We are on the brink of nuclear war. God, please protect our shores and our troops. They have placed themselves in harm's way for all of us. Share this if you are praying for our nation and our troops. Thank God we have Trump in office and not the lady whose husband allowed North Korea to get nuclear weapons. Amen.